Oh my God.
Don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Hi you guys, welcome to my channel, and you're here with the Digs with Dee Dee. So I know you guys have all seen this unfortunate footage that has been circling around these YouTube streets. It might be on the back streets because this one got pretty dirty. This one got pretty down and dirty. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't think I've seen anything this brutal on the internet in quite some time. So interviewer or journalist, I'm not going to call her an interviewer, journalist Savannah Craven was, she was, on the streets of Harlem, speaking with people, doing interviews with people just walking. And a woman walked up and, volunteered to do an interview. So, sometimes topics can be very sensitive to people. And I feel like discernment could have played a part in this if it was utilized. I have discernment. And sometimes, when I was younger, I would not use it. I'm not going to lie. I would be put in situations and predicaments that I knew I should have never been in, but I would still sit there and I knew something crazy was about to happen. I feel like Miss Craven could have used a little bit of discernment. And, this unfortunate incident may not have occurred. I can see both sides of a situation, especially when the person that the young woman that she interviewed, I used to be a part of the ignorant, I used to be indicted and indoctrinated in the ignorant crew that woman is currently, her mind frame is in. But when you are blind to things and you have lived things and you're looking at things kind of on a sense of you're being judged because maybe you've made some mistakes in your life. Do y'all see where I'm coming from? I feel like this woman has made some mistakes in her life, and she felt like Savannah, Miss Craven, was kind of judging her personally. So she was taking some things that Miss Craven was saying internally instead of looking at it as, in general. I don't know if that really was the case or not, but I just felt like she was taking some of this stuff on the chin. She was taking a lot of the things that were being said on the chin. I showed you guys the end result of the interview. Unfortunately, Miss Craven was assaulted by this young woman and received stitches and was treated for a black eye. That's what it says online. I hope that she's okay. I do not agree with taking something to the physical unless you are protecting yourself. Words should never be a thing that should take you to the level. You should not be trying to knock somebody between the washer and the dryer because they said something to you. When we get a certain age, you should have a certain level of control, self-control, where you don't allow someone's words to make you want to knock them silly. This girl, but I know we do a lot of politically about like prison reform and all that, but there are some people that belong in prison. There are some people that may not want to admit this, because I know that some people are wrongfully incarcerated. But when you feel as though, as a grown adult, that it is okay to put your hands on someone else because you don't agree with their political views or anything that they're saying, you don't agree with something that they said, you have some mental issues. You have some issues that need to be dealt with by a certified psychologist or a psychiatrist, maybe even both. But I'm gonna let you guys see this tiny clip. I'm just gonna show a little bit of like the content of the conversation that was had, and I'll let you guys be the judge of this.
Any kind of limbs yet. You don't even feel physical.
Some people that are born don't have
direction.
limbs. Some people that are born are paralyzed.
You have to know what you're doing. You need to just protect yourself if you can.
Yeah.
And honestly, don't have babies with people who don't want to have babies with you. because people.
But when you're pregnant, you already have a baby.
That you need to be pro-life, and you don't. Don't ever sit here and lock yourself down with a man who already told you he doesn't want to be with you. He doesn't.
I agree with you.
I'm not disagreeing with you either. I understand.
You don't get to kill the baby just because their dad didn't want them.
You can.
Should we kill the kids in foster care?
Why not? Why not? If that's the case,
we should kill the kids in foster care that aren't wanted.
Who's going to take care of them? I need to know the percentage of people who take children from foster care and abuse them and molest them, who make them like personal slaves.
We should just kill them.
Statistics before you come to me talking about pro-life.
We should kill the victims of molestation.
I think, what does this have to do with molestation?
You just mentioned people molesting children. We should kill the kids in foster care is what you said.
Okay, you guys. So that was a sneak peek of some of the interview that happened with Savannah Craven and the young woman who was she was pro-abortion. Savannah Craven is a pro-lifer, which is not a problem. They can have a difference in opinion in their views. I will say this. When you're interviewing, I don't interview people. So, but this is just in conversation. I have learned this just, as my journey in life, I've learned this. You're going to have a difference of opinion with people. At this point in my life, I'm never going to get to the point in a conversation with someone where it's going to turn into an argument, let alone a knockdown drag out, because we don't have the same opinion. I have learned at this point in my life that you have to agree to disagree with some people. And that's just what it is. I have family members that I have different beliefs with. We don't believe in the same things. We have different, at this point. I'm not going to say that I haven't. At some point in my life, I was a pro-choice. Before I got saved, before I gave my life to Jesus, I used to believe that you should be able to do whatever you want to do with your body. I no longer have that belief. So we don't always start where we end up. And you just have to have a little bit more grace with people on their journey. I feel like Miss Craven could have given her some grace. I feel like if you watch the whole 21-minute interview, I feel like there were some antagonistic moments. She was antagonizing this woman. She would sometimes repeat what the woman said in a very condescending way. And if she was saying things like she thinks that foster kids should be unalived because they were unwanted kids, this person may have some mental issues. And I think that you should maybe cut the conversation short and maybe say, thank you so much for, interviewing with me today. Have a nice day, and wrap that thing up. And I don't think it would have gotten that far. If you see that you're further along than someone else in their thought pattern, in your morality, in the way that you think, because she was saying basically that she's one of the people that believes that Planned Parenthood should be used as birth control. That's basically, she's saying she doesn't understand that if you don't act, if you remain, what is the word? I can't even think of the word right now. You guys help me out in the comments. If you do not engage in sexual activity until marriage, then you don't have to worry about having an unwanted pregnancy. And I get that Miss Craven was trying to explain that to her, but she's someone who's obviously out here and struggling with her morals, struggling with that, struggling with lust possibly. So she's not going to understand. And then she's also struggling in her faith in God. She was even saying things like she didn't feel like the Bible was real and she just feels like man wrote the Bible. She was saying all types of things. So there were different signs prior to her putting her hands on her that should have led her to know that this person is not okay up there. You can't argue with some people. You can't take it to a certain level with some people, or they're going to take it there with you and it's going to go completely left. And that's exactly what happened. This situation could have been prevented. I feel like Miss Craven, God bless you. You could have just ended the interview early. The signs were there. The red flags were flagging. And I guess maybe for the interview purpose, you pushed forward, but sometimes you have to stop things to prevent something from happening. So, I mean, just tell me what you guys think, because as soon as she was saying that she felt like kids in foster care should have been unalived, and when she was just saying certain things, like she was saying, you know, I have an 18-year-old daughter and I have a 12-year-old daughter. I'm not encouraging them to have sex with people that they're not married to. I'm not even using the excuse of being young. Even though I had premarital sex, I'm not wanting the same things for my kids. I know the difference between right and wrong. And just because I did something and engaged in a certain behavior, I'm not pushing that out to these younger kids behind me. We have to learn from our mistakes. And I feel like that's what the issue is. A lot of people are still carrying shame from things that they've done instead of just saying this was wrong and the way that I was living wasn't the way I should have been living. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you're able to. Let's start the conversation, because I think that could have been prevented. But, you know, I'm not condoning what the woman did, but at the same time, when you know better, you do better. And I feel like this could have had a more successful ending. We're not always going to change people's minds in an instant. We're not always going to do that, but you can plant a seed. You can educate people, and you can do it with a certain amount of grace. I'm learning that too, y'all. I'm learning that too. Because trust me, I am a recovering ratchet. I am learning that too. So just like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Please let me know what you think about that interview. Were you able to watch the interview? How did you feel about the way that it was conducted on both sides? Because I think this is a great conversation that we could be having right now. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day.